So, hi, my name is Justin Njai, and I'm the president and CEO of Golden Touch Motivational. Now, the reason why I'm doing this because, I went to college, graduated from Rutgers University, got an MBA, went to med school for 2 years, but yet I was always broke. So I'm like, wait a minute, there's a better way to do this. So I made it upon myself to start really studying wealthy people. And I realized that the only way to be wealthy and successful is to actually think and act like a wealthy and successful person. And the only way to do that is to actually learn how wealthy people think. And I come to an amazing realization. I realize actually that wealthy people think about what they want most of the time and take a positive action to get it. And that keeps them in a positive mode at all times. So I made it my duty to not only learn about it, which kind of got me a lot of success stories, because I worked with different insurance companies. Actually, I was one of their top agents, and I went from making $1,000 a month to actually making tens of thousands of dollars a month and making over 6 figures. And the only way I was able to do that is to change my thinking. I did what everybody told me: go to school, get a degree, get a good job, you'll be set. And guess what? It just didn't work for me, because I went to Rutgers University, one of the top schools. I got my MBA. I went to med school for 2 years, but yet I was still broke. I was struggling to pay bills, help my parents, do anything. I wasn't able to do the things I wanted to do. So I'm like, okay, there's a better way. And the only way for me that it makes sense is to study about wealthy people. And I realized that the only way to be wealthy is to think like a wealthy person. And then the only way to think like a wealthy person is to study how wealthy people think. And I come to an actually interesting realization. Actually, do you realize that also wealthy people think about what they think, what they want in life and how to get it most of the time? Because there's a basic concept that says that you are what you think about most of the time. So if you think about how to get what you want, it actually helps you establish it more. So I realized that, hey, guess what? Let me learn how wealthy people think. And I come to realize that they think of one thing and one thing only, on what they want and how to get it. So I start doing that because there's also the law of cause and effect, which says that for every cause there is an effect. So which means if you do what wealthy people do, you're going to get the same effect, which is being wealthy. I was broke all the time, and I'm like, you know what, there's a better way. And as I start studying these things and how these wealthy people did it, and guess what, I start becoming actually very successful. As a matter of fact, I work with Fortune 1000 companies, and I was their top salesman, because I'm a financial planner, financial advisor. As a matter of fact, they were wanting me to come and motivate their salespeople on how to get better results. I'm like, wait a minute, I can help everybody else do the same thing that I did because it worked for me. And actually, you don't have to be, it's not rocket science. It's just basic principles, cause and effect relationship. If you don't want something in your life, you got to go back and find out what the cause is and change it, and you get a different effect. So if you want to lose weight, and guess what? Start eating less and exercise, and you're going to get the results. So there is no secret in that. So that's what got me to doing this. Now, why I wanted to help everybody else do what I'm doing, because I figure they got the same question because I get asked all the time, Justin, how did you become so successful? How do you become so positive all the time? And I'm like, you know what, there's no secret. I just train my mind to think about the things I want in life and take a positive action to get it. It's that simple. That's what wealthy people do, because there are over 5 million millionaires. All of them are self-made. Guess what? They apply the same concept. Because there are two things that are holding us back, which is the fear of loss and the fear of rejection. And the fear of loss actually comes from when we're a child, or you can sometimes also people call it the fear of failure. Because when you're a child, your parents tell you, you know what, don't do this, don't do that, don't touch here, don't. And guess what? As a child, you don't realize that your parents are telling you these things to protect you. But you internally think that, oh, I'm too incompetent, I'm too small, I can't. And as we grow up as adults, we walk around thinking, I can't. And the way that's manifested is every time we got an opportunity, the first thing we say is, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't afford this. I'm not going to be good at this. Why? Because in childhood, we were constantly told, you can't touch this, you can't go here. Now, what you got to do is you got to reprogram your mind and saying to yourself, you know what? The only way you can release your brakes and unlock your potentials is to say to yourself, you know what? I can do anything I put my mind into. And I was giving you the concept because science was my major when I was in college. Actually, I studied the brain. And I was telling you that the brain, actually, the way it's designed, the brain is designed, there's over 20 billion cells through the brain that are connected with 20,000 other cells, which means that the total thought and mutation that we can think is actually the number one, followed with 8 pages of zero, which means we can think thoughts, more thoughts than all the known molecules in the known universe, which is unbelievable. So that blew my mind. And I'm like, wow, we can do so much, but yet we settle for so less because we feel like we can't. So I made it up my duty and my obligation to just take this opportunity to everybody else and help them improve their life. Because everybody will agree that we are meant to do great things. But until you tap into that potential and actually do great things, you're just going to feel like there's failure all around you. And guess what? There's greatness all around us. Anything we possibly want actually is on earth.